News from the street, 919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good day, I am Chanel Webb with the news on the street, 919 FM, and online, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. In the headlines, Prime Minister says the courts will decide on controversial video claiming to undermine the THA Chief Secretary. Gypsy calls on government to intervene in this grand controversy. Suspected bandit dies after being beaten and run over. A 68-year-old found dead in guest house. And regionally, Dominican Republic seals border with Haiti over water dispute. And in the UK, a man dies after attack by XL American bully dogs in Stonal. And now the news in detail. The allegation that the Prime Minister and others plotted to undermine Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Fally Augustine is going to be adjudicated before the courts. Prime Minister Dr. Kit Rowley disclosed this at the post-cabinet news conference at the Diplomatic Centre, St. Anne's yesterday. Earlier this year, Abdullah, a former PDP member, alleged that several people were involved in the plot, including PNM Tobago leader Ansel Dennis, the police commissioner, and the Prime Minister. They have all denied the allegations. Abdullah was identified as the whistleblower in the police probe into the leaked audio clip of Augustine and others discussing using THA funds to pay people to spread political propaganda. Asked about the issue yesterday, Dr. Rowley said, "I did issue a pre-action protocol to the gentleman who I saw in the assembly telling stories about his relationship with me. I did, in fact, ask him to retract his position."
And my private lawyer, and I have been meeting with some man who, you saw the story. All I can tell you, I haven't gotten over that yet. Because you see, that is probably and the story is carrying on in Tobago because they keep having meetings trying to defend Tobago from this situation. But as I said earlier on, we are sitting at the General Assembly of the United Nations as the president. But the head of the executive in Tobago at the THA is telling the world that in Trinidad and Tobago, how it go is that the Prime Minister and the Commissioner of Police is undermining the duly elected House of Assembly in Tobago in criminal activity. That is what it is. That was not Tobago story. That's a story that went worldwide. When I recover from that, I'll let you know. Thank you all very much.
Current chairman of the National Carnival Commission and former Culture Minister Winston Gypsy Peters is demanding the government to intervene on the issue surrounding the crowning of a Venezuelan national to represent this country on an international stage next month. This cannot happen, Gypsy Peters said. Peters said, while it is okay for anyone to hold a pageant and it is open to anybody, it's fine as long as it's not for a national pageant or an international pageant where you have to represent my country. In order to represent a country, it has to be sanctioned first by the country, and it has to be that the person representing your country has to have some legal standing, not really a resident, but you could be a foreigner, but you must be a citizen of a country, because once you become a citizen of a country, you become a part of that country, he added. He then called on Minister Brown to intervene. Gypsy Peters also vowed to go to distance and call the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and even Dr. Rowley on the matter sometime during the day on Thursday. We'll be right back.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket. 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
The bagel after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation plus 200 megabits per second Paramount Plus and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
In other news, police are probing the death of a suspected bandit who they believe tried to rob a bar in Aruka but was beaten by patrons early on Thursday morning. According to reports, patrons were in front of La Luna Bar, Aruka, off the Eastern Main Road around 1:45 a.m. when they were confronted by 2 men, one of whom had a big stone who tried to rob them. One of the men grabbed the woman at the bar, but she fought back with the help from a relative who tried to subdue the man. The 2 bandits then ran onto the Eastern Main Road to try to escape. As they were running on the main road, the driver of a gold-colored Nissan Almera motorcar was informed that a robbery was transpiring, and he drove his vehicle into the 2 men, making contact with one of the suspects. Police said the driver made a U-turn and hit the suspect again. However, on realizing the seriousness of the impact, the driver of the Almera drove away from the scene by proceeding along on the Golden Grove Road, Aruka. Police were called in and took both men to the hospital, where one of them was declared dead. He has been identified as Clifton Changa. We now head on over to weather news with Kyle Cumberbatch.
Today is going to have generally hot and sunny conditions despite brief showers. There is a 30% chance of an isolated afternoon heavy shower favoring western and hilly areas of Trinidad and Tobago. We will have a fair night. Gusts and street flash flooding are possible in the event of heavy downpours. Last night's minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius in Piaco and Crown Point 26 degrees Celsius. Today's max forecasted temperature is 34 degrees Celsius in Piaco and 33 in Crown Point. Wave levels can reach up to 1.5 meters in open waters, but stay below 0.5 meters in sheltered areas. Thank you. My name is Kyle Cumberbatch, and that was your weather report on the Street 919 FM. Back to you, Chanel.
In other news, a post-mortem has been ordered after a 68-year-old man was found unresponsive at a guest house in Chaguanas. The deceased has been identified as Rashid Mohammed. According to reports, at about 4:30 p.m., a woman was observed leaving from Mohammed's room and into a vehicle that was nearby. At about 8:20 p.m., checks were made on Mohammed by staff at the facility, and he was found to be unresponsive. The police and the paramedics were notified. However, Mohammed was pronounced dead on the scene. We now head on over to Shanaka Phipps with the sports.
Thank you, Chanel. I am Shanaka Phipps with your sports report. On top of sports today, David Telford chosen on CONCACAF 11 for Nations League. Saeem shines again as Amazon Warriors remain unbeaten. Internationally, judge opens investigation for former Spanish FA president with Jenny Hermoso kiss. And in local sports, they were selected based on their performance in Soca Warriors' 2 matches played against Curacao and El Salvador, CONCACAF said. TNT promoted to the CONCACAF Nations League A division after playing unbeaten in the B League between last year and this year, got to the best start they could have asked for. when they defeated Curacao 1-0 at the Hasty Crawford Stadium in Mucurapo. 1-0 courtesy of Nathaniel Natty James' 82nd minute strike on September 7th. 3 days later, the Soca Warriors pulled off a come-from-behind 3-2 victory over El Salvador at the Estadio Jorge Gonzalez in El Salvador. Victory over El Salvador at the Estadio Jorge Gonzalez in El Salvador, with Telfa equalizing on the home team's opening goal in the 17th minute. Telfa, the Miami FC winger in the USL Championship in the United States, was also instrumental in the Curacao game. Responding to David, the CONCACAF said, like he has always been his entire career, David was effective at both ends. He took 3 shots in the attack, while he made 5 steals and 4 clearances to help the Soca Warriors become the only team to win both games in the window. Guided by the support of Telfa and David, the T&T team is now 2 matches away from a place in the quarterfinals of the National League, with matches against Guatemala on October 13th and Curacao on October 17th. And to further sports, Georgetown Guyana Saeem Ayab struck an impressive 3rd straight half-century as Guyana Amazon Warriors brushed aside Jamaica Tallywas by 7 wickets in their first home game on Wednesday night to extend their unbeaten run in the Caribbean League.
Yeah, he loves it. 20s. It's a handsome looking shot that gets through. Just a little punch downtown, and there is a lovely boundary. Oh, it'll feel real good here for Nandu. There's that swing that Ian Bishop's on about, but it's way too straight. Picked off.
In pursuit of 153 at the Guyana National Stadium, Amazon Warriors hold their target with 9 balls to spare to notch their 6th win in 7 matches and return to the top of the standings alongside Trinbago Knight Riders on 13 points. Their win was inspired by Saeem, the 21-year-old Pakistani, top scoring with 85 to 53 deliveries, a knock which put him within reach of 300 runs for the campaign at 288. 20-year-old Matthew Nandu in the first game of the season chipped in with 37 in a 112-run opening stand with Saeem, which erased any doubt over the result. Internationally, Spain forward Jenny Hermoso filed a legal complaint last week over Rubiales kissing her on the lips following her country's Women's World Cup final win. Hermoso, 33, said the kiss was not consensual, while Rubiales claimed it was mutual and consensual. Rubiales quit as Spanish FA president as a result of the controversy. Last week, prosecutor Marta Durantes Gil filed a complaint with Spanish High Court against Rubiales for sexual assault and coercion.
Spain's football chief Luis Rubiales has finally stepped down. The infamous kiss at the FIFA Women's World Cup that triggered much outrage has resulted in Rubiales giving in, but not without some fight. A series of dramatic events unfolded after this kiss, like a tragic play that had acts with vivid scenes. Spain's Football Federation confirmed that Rubiales had sent his resignation in. This comes after around 3 weeks post the World Cup victory. It all started after Rubiales kissed a Spanish player, Jenny Hermoso, on her lips. From calling it just a show of affection between friends to vehemently denying stepping down.
On Monday, the judge Francisco de Jorge of the National Court accepted the complaint. A magistrate will be assigned to lead an investigation which will conclude either with a recommendation for the case to go to trial or to be dismissed. The charge for sexual assault under the Spanish law can carry a punishment ranging from a fine to 4 years in prison. And that's all for sports. I'm Chinaka Phipps. Do have a fantastic Friday. Now back to you, Chanel.
Now regionally, the Dominican Republic's president announced on Thursday he would close all borders with neighboring Haiti starting Friday in a dispute over a canal on the Haitian side that would use water from a river along their frontier. President Luis Abinadi said air, sea and land borders would close at 6 a.m. local time Friday and would remain shuttered until necessary, signaling that last-minute talks between the countries had failed to head off the closure.
This is the life of many vendors in Haiti, lining up and crossing from one side of the border to the other, attempting to make a living in the Dominican Republic before returning home in the evening. But this constant flow is about to come to an end after Dominican President Luis Abinader announced he'd be shutting the border with Haiti.
All of our borders, land, maritime and air, will be closed. And this until they stop their provocative actions.
At the centre of the dispute are works by a Haitian farming group on a canal that the Dominican Republic says will divert water from the Massacre River. The river serves as a natural border, and President Abinader says the works pose a threat to Dominican farmers and the environment. In the meantime, though, the country's closure is worrying Haitians.
It's bad for us Haitians. We need the canal because there's nothing in Haiti. We need the work.
The Haitian government doesn't appear to have any plans of halting the works on the canal for now, despite the Dominican Republic saying that they violate a treaty dating back to almost 100 years ago. The two countries have a long history of conflict and tension on their border. The Dominican Republic last closed it after the assassination of Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse in 2021. Since then, it's begun building a 200-kilometre wall, while tens of thousands of Haitians and people of Haitian descent have been expelled in recent years. The border closure is set to be yet another blow to Haiti, which remains one of the world's poorest nations, as it struggles to contain a major rise in gang violence.
It is a rare move for the Dominican Republic and could hit economies in both countries, though it would be most acutely felt in Haiti. The closure is a response to the excavation of a canal by a farming group on the Haitian side that targets waters from the Massacre River, which runs along the border shared by the two countries on the island of Hispaniola. The International Crisis Group said work on the canal has been suspended since the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, and that it resumed based on inaction by the Haitian government, which has failed to respond to the problems created by the drought in the agricultural area of the Mirabaru Plain. The organization has seen no evidence that suggests there are any political or powerful business people behind it, as the Dominican government has claimed, according to Latin American and Caribbean consultant Diego Duran. We will be right back.
Since they were on sale, Laura bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? You'd better come and satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Wow Bucket. 7 pieces of chicken and 4 regular sides for $115. A finger-licking good deal.
Now news over in the UK. A man has died after suffering multiple injuries in an attack by 2 dogs believed to be American extra-large bullies. The victim was left in a critical condition after being attacked by the dogs in Stonall near Walsall, Staffordshire. He was taken to Birmingham's Queen Elizabeth Hospital but later confirmed dead, emergency services said. The 30-year-old man from Lichfield has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter, according to the Staffordshire police. He had been previously arrested on suspicion of being in charge of dogs dangerously out of control causing injury. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has pledged to ban American XL bully dogs, describing them as a danger to communities. Police said it was understood that the dogs were XL bullies, but further tests were being carried out to determine their breed. One of the dogs died after being restrained, and the other died after an injection was given to it by a vet. Recapping the headlines. Prime Minister says the courts will decide on controversial video claiming to undermine THA Chief Secretary. Gypsy calls on government to intervene in Miss Grand controversy. Suspected bandit dies after being beaten and run over. 68-year-old found dead in guest house. Dominican Republic seals border with Haiti over water dispute. And man dies after an attack by American XL bulldogs in Stonewall, UK. Good afternoon, I am Chanel Webb, and that was the news on the street, 919 FM, and online, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
News from the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.